Well, why don't we get rolling? We've got a bunch of people coming in today. So really excited to have all of you here with us today. Thank you so much and happy holidays to everybody. I'm Marilyn Wilson and I'm from RE Technology and the Wave Group. And I've been supporting the amazing brokers around Louisiana launching Greater Southern MLS. So we're here to, I shouldn't say we're here, they're here to tell you all about this today. I'm just going to open it up for you. So as some of you may know, Greater Southern MLS is a broker-led and proving to be a very customer-centric MLS that's looking to expand and have data from all over the state, make it really easy for brokers to do business. And really, at the end of the day, what the goal is of the brokers that have put this together is to really be a partner to brokers for business generation and profitability improvement. So whether that be providing great tools that you don't have to buy on your own, whether that be giving you data that doesn't cost you anything, whether that be getting you more listing exposure and lead gen opportunities, a variety of different things. But that's what Greater Southern MLS is here to do. It's a bunch of brokers working together with you to try to make business happen for brokers and, of course, for their agents and ultimately to work with their clients. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to, let me just introduce everybody, then I'll turn it over to Webb. We've got Steve Hayes with us. He is the president of the 2020 president of NABOR, the North Shore Association Board of Realtors in Mandeville. And he's also from Real Living, Southern Home Professionals. Then we've got Tommy Eastman, who's a broker from Flavin Realty and Lake Charles, and also one of the original sponsors and a shareholder of, board member of Greater Southern. Then we've got Webb J. He's the president of Greater Southern MLS, and the broker for Webb J and Associates, and again, myself. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to you, Webb, and you take us through this. And I also wanted to invite anybody that would like to, feel free to ask a question in the chat or in the Q&A section, and we'll jump in and try to answer that to the best of our abilities, okay? All right, so let's go. Go ahead, Webb.
Thank you, Marilyn. So Greater Southern MLS, I got involved from the very beginning because I saw a need. Where I'm located in the river parishes, I'm literally between 3 current MLS areas, and I saw a need to be able to cross these artificial, arbitrary boundaries that are put in place by the current MLSs around the state. So with Greater Southern MLS, the potential is there to just eliminate those barriers, but also you have your own MLS and it's led and driven by customer-centric fellow brokers. I got together with this group of brokers. Some were from large companies, some were from medium-sized companies, and then like myself, a smaller broker, and we collaborated and we got along and we were able to say, hey, what works not just for this size company or this size company, but what works for all of us and what works best for our agents to be the most productive. So with that being in mind, we thought real long and hard about how we were going to implement this and put it together for the state. And we came up with what we think really is a truly customer-centric model that's led by brokers, and it provides service and support. You have lots of technology solutions, and we're going to go over some of those that are available today, but also the education and the training for our products, both online and in person, as well as knowledge base, YouTube videos, etc. The support when you need it, and the ability to ask questions and get them answered, and compliance and having one set of data rules for the entire state. I know where I'm located now, I've been a member of 3 MLSs, and each one had their own set of rules, their own data entry methods, and their own front-facing MLS. And so it was a compliance issue because I had to train my office admin and to train my agents how to use these different software models. So we're hoping that as you learn more about Greater Southern, you'll see that a lot of these obstacles that we've had to overcome as brokers and as agents are eliminated just simply by being a part of Greater Southern MLS. So a statewide MLS is not really a new thing. Currently, 50% of realtors belong to 20 regional MLSs. And there's 6 statewide MLSs today. And what a statewide MLS does is it creates one set of rules and regulations across the state. And what we're hoping to accomplish here is state and national listing exposure and lead generation for the listing agents, regional and statewide IDX feeds. And one thing about IDX feeds that I truly appreciate, because I've had to pay for a lot over the years through different MLSs, is that there is no fee for broker IDX feeds. So IDX feeds, whether it's for your back office or if you have a website or whatever it is, you can have unlimited IDX feeds at no charge. More referrals and expand your business. All of these are options and the availability within a statewide MLS. So what's included with Greater Southern MLS? That's a question that we hear a lot. And as you can see, there are 15 technologies and an MLS system of choice. So around the state, we know that different areas of the state are using different platforms for their MLS. So if you're currently using Matrix, you'll be able to continue to use Matrix. If you're currently on Paragon, you can continue to use Paragon. If you're currently on the Flex MLS, you can continue to use that. Or if you want to change to one of the others because you think it works better for your business model, you have the option to do that. So you have that front end of choice of whichever of those front ends for the MLS that you'd like to use, you have that available. But you can also see there's a whole host of other best-in-class technologies that are available at your fingertips as part of the Greater Southern MLS. So I said before, there's free broker data feeds. That includes IDX, the virtual office, all of your data feeds that you need to run your business the way that you want to run your business. They're free for you as a broker, and they'll be provided within 3 business days. They'll be approved.
And Webb, just to give some perspective on that, when just
Sure.
with you belong in those 3 MLSs, how much do you think something this is going to save you money on?
Well, I know at one time I calculated, and I know the amount of feeds that I've had has changed on and off, but I remember one time adding it up, and at that particular time, it was about $1,500 a year, just in the data feed, not including, the various services and everything else and the IT people and everything that I was using to set stuff up, but just in the data feeds alone was $1,500. So one of the questions that we get asked a lot is, if we need help or have issues using the MLS, what kind of support is provided? So there is live customer support 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, 8:30 a.m. to 11 p.m. That is in our time zone, Central Standard Time, and Saturday, Sunday from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. You have help available by phone, live chat, ask a question, make suggestions. You can do all of that through our MLS platform. It's all available to you. And we've been awarded the prestigious Center of Excellent recognition that's benchmark to the industry, that to have that kind of customer service is just really paramount to us. It was important to us as brokers starting this thing, that our agents who use this on a day-to-day basis would be able to get the help they need when they need it. And then also, anytime you introduce new technology, or even using technology you're familiar with, you want to be able to make sure that your agents know how to use it, can use it effectively, because ultimately, look, we've got, as brokers, we've got to keep our agents happy and productive. And nothing slows an agent down more than having to learn something new. So we have a comprehensive set of technology training. And some of you may know Michelle Phillips. She's our local trainer, and she's available for training in your office, online, or through your association. So there's in-person classes, there's live classes, recorded webinars. We have quick how-to videos available. There's YouTube training library and a huge, fully functional knowledge base available at your fingertips to learn all about not only Greater Southern MLS, the MLS, but to be able to help train you on the different technologies that we offer as well. So who can join Greater Southern MLS? So all of us who are on this call today are realtors, and we understand that there's an importance and a pride in being a realtor member of an association. That comes with the code of ethics and all that that entails as far as compliance and cooperation among other realtors. So the only way to join Greater Southern is to be a realtor. You have to be a member of your local board. You have, whichever board that is, you have to be a member of a board to join Greater Southern MLS. So it's for realtors only. That is the vision, that was the design within this organization, that it would always be realtors only. Who runs Greater Southern MLS? So in forming the structure of how this entity would be formed, we came up with equitable board of directors that includes broker representation and association representation. So as it's set up, there are 3 brokers on the board that represent small brokerages, 3 brokers representing mid-sized brokerages, and 3 brokers representing large brokerages. There's also association representation. So this, again, we want to emphasize, this is in no way trying to eliminate your local board of realtors. We need the partnership with the local board. We subscribe to the code of ethics of the realtor associations. And so we very much want to include associations in what we're doing. And so there is 1 broker representing small participating associations, 1 broker representing the mid-sized participating associations, and 1 broker representing large participating associations. And then we've also included, just to get some more perspective on the board, there's a board position for 1 productive agent or team leader, and the possibility for up to 2 outside directors, whether that's someone from a different business perspective, or an attorney, or a CPA, or if whatever the board at that time decides, just to have a very equitable board of directors that can hear what's going on in the marketplace and in our state.
Could that
Steve,
even
you
be
have something you'd like to add to that?
could one of those outside directors even be an appraiser?
Yeah, sure. I don't see why not. I mean, that would be up to you know, how the board itself as to, you know, how that makeup would be formed.
Right. My point there is that there's some flexibility in there to address the needs of the brokers and the agents, the users. And if it's beneficial for XYZ attorney or XYZ appraiser, you know, whatever, to have that input, then there's flexibility for that.
Sure, absolutely. And I think Tommy, you know, he's on the board currently with myself, and he could certainly speak to the fact that, look, this board is very transparent, and we're very open, and we hear each other's thoughts, and we're very much wanting this organization to have that culture of being inclusive and being at the forefront of our industry, and to help brokers and agents just be successful. I mean, that's the bottom line. We want to be successful. We want to be able to have the resources available for the brokers and agents to be able to better serve the public and be the best realtors they can be. So who owns Greater Southern MLS? Now this you know, we've heard all kind of different rumors around the state and everything, but I'd like to make it clear today how the ownership is set up for this for Greater Southern MLS. Participating brokers have the opportunity to buy 1 share and 1 share only, and also the associations that are a part of Greater Southern can also buy 1 share and 1 share only. And so what do I mean by 1 share and 1 share only? Every participating brokerage and every association can buy 1 share and no more than 1 share. no matter how many offices, no matter how many brands, no matter how many agents or members, you have a one-time stock purchase of $500 to buy your share, and that's it. And a great example of that is many of you are aware of the recent merger of Latter and Bloom and Gardner. And so both Latter and Bloom and Gardner had a share in Greater Southern MLS. And because they were both large brokerages, they both had a seat on the board of directors. And so by the two companies becoming one under the Latter and Bloom brand, the Gardner share becomes retired. Gardner no longer has a share, and Latter and Bloom only still has one share. They did not acquire the Gardner share. That share was retired, and Latter and Bloom has one share. And where you had one board member who was from Gardner and one from Latter and Bloom, the Gardner seat became an open seat and then would become filled. So Latter and Bloom still only has one place on the board, and they only have one share. So it doesn't matter the size of your brokerage or how many companies you acquire, everyone's only given one share and no more than that. So what is the benefit of being a shareholder? Shareholders are eligible to vote on key issues, serve on the board of directors, and provide input on the direction of Greater Southern MLS.
And Steve or Webb, a question just came through. Maybe I can answer that for you. Apparently, one of the other MLSs just launched the Clarity dashboard. And at least according to this person, it's not working out so great. People aren't loving it very much. So the question is, are we going to have that as well? And actually, we've been hearing some of that feedback, and we're discussing that right now, that if our group determines, because they're hearing from all the agents that this thing is not the right thing to do, then we're not going to do that either. There may be ways to fix the challenges that are happening, or we're looking at either fixing them or just not doing it at all. So we hear you about that, and we're not going to create more challenges for you guys. And just to let you know that is on the radar, and the board's been looking at that. So that's that good example, I think, that from what I'm seeing of, if the board hears something that the agents it's not working well for the agents, whether it's their own system or something else, they look at it really seriously to say, what's our answer to that, to be sure they're not creating any challenges and creating as little disruption, if no disruption at all, for agents. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you, Marilyn. I mean, we had that conversation just yesterday. In fact,
Yeah.
I know that it had come up a few times that some of the agents and brokers that were using the Clarity dashboard just had issues with it. So we're definitely looking into, can either the issues be fixed, or is it just something that we just don't need to have altogether? So, very proactive board and very proactive culture within Greater Southern to say, hey, look, the tools that work for our agents are the tools we want to have, and the tools that become cumbersome or hard to use, we don't want to have.
Exactly.
So,
okay.
With all that being said, we talked about the ownership of how the ownership structure is formed. And so if you're a broker and you're interested in being a part of Greater Southern MLS, you can buy a share of stock to be eligible to serve on the board of directors. And if you're interested in doing that, you can send an email to admin@greatersouthernmls.com, and we'll get you the paperwork, and we'll be able to answer any questions. If you have some questions before doing so, you can certainly get the questions answered through the admin, or you can reach out to any of the board, including myself or Tommy or Steve, and we'd all be more than happy to answer whatever questions you have. So what brokerages are currently shareholders today? There are brokerages from around the state. You can see on your screen right now how many different and diverse brokerages represent the current shareholders of Greater Southern MLS. And that is a group that represents nearly 5,000 realtors from around the state are currently represented among the shareholders of Greater Southern MLS. So, and here's a map of the state, and you can see each of those little pin drops around the state represents a brokerage that has shares or a share in Greater Southern MLS. Those are our shareholders. That's our brokerages that represent nearly a third of all Louisiana realtors. So it's not just one location. It's not just the Lake Charles area. It's not just the North Shore area, but it is literally around the state and a diversity of large, medium, and small brokerages. So
Okay.
at this time, Marilyn, if you want to introduce Tommy.
Sure. So Tommy Eastman, some of you may know him from his years of being a crazy guy around the state. He's the broker from Flavin Realty. And as we mentioned, but just to reinforce, Southwest Louisiana was the first association to join forces with Greater Southern. NABOR, the North Shore Board, is coming shortly. They've announced a couple of months ago that they're going to work with us too. But Tommy, maybe you can just start with, why is it that Southwest thought this was a good idea, and what are you seeing so far? This has been live since July, right? So we've been at this for a few months now. What are you seeing so far, and why did Louisiana or Southwest think it was a good idea to join?
Thank you, Marilyn. The Southwest to start, of course, Southwest, we've got about 650 to 700 agents. That from the standpoint of what intrigued us, and truthfully, we have about 71% of the market share for Southwest is Greater Southern brokers. So that's where it started. So the brokers really got involved from the beginning when it came to the concept of having a statewide MLS. And so then it grew from there, where we figured out that, one, being with the whole group affords different things, meaning more technology. Being with the group that we're with, the CRMLS, probably the best technology that's out there. Not making a big problem for our agents when in changing the platform. We currently are with Matrix, and that has just gone seamless. It's basically the same thing. But for us to be able to provide for our membership the technology and everything, it would have cost everybody a fortune from the standpoint of that. Also, you get to the point now where our world is shrinking, by the day. And having access to different areas of the state, and from a standpoint of comps or listings or any of that kind of stuff, when you got people calling calling you that you might be from another area, or have clients that are going to an area, to at least be able to research a little bit. And not saying you're going to go to that, I'm going to go to New Orleans and sell property or anything like that, but to be able to research and point them in the right direction. One, to use it as a referral source, or as as just for the information. So that's kind of where the benefits have come in. It has been seamless. We really have had no issues. We've had a ton of training. We're getting ready to launch more of the technology. Of course, here in Southwest Louisiana, we had a couple of little hiccups, meaning 2 hurricanes, so it kind of slowed us down a little bit. But it has been a great deal for us.
Awesome. And have you had any pushback from any agents or brokers that have been concerned? Is there anything that they felt like was worse, or anything that changed that they weren't comfortable with?
There hadn't been any change. It's the same platform.
Right.
So it's the same thing. So no, I have personally have not heard anything of people having any kind of problem.
Well, one piece of data we just got yesterday that was kind of fun to share too is the brokers here are, because they're brokers, they're not trying to make money off of, every time someone makes a mistake on a listing, let's gig them and get $50 from them, or any of those things that happen sometimes. In fact, to date, Greater Southern MLS has not collected $1 in compliance fines. What
That's
it's done
because
instead,
Southwest, we don't make any mistakes.
well, that's probably true, Tommy, because you guys are perfect. But anytime there was something that was a little off, what would happen is instead we'd reach out and say, hey, this might be a challenge. Can you fix it? Or can we fix it for you? And that's what happened. And so there hasn't been $1 charged. So another way for people saving
And
money.
that's a great point to make, okay? From a standpoint of, this is brokers trying to make it easier for their agents. At the end of the day, if we don't keep our agents happy, then we're out of business. So from that standpoint, you know, there always has been in our neck of the woods some bureaucracy, let's say, when it comes to the MLS. And I for one, I am so proud of this group for stepping up, because we did a disservice to ourselves when we stopped as brokers being involved. We're all running our businesses and doing all that stuff, and next thing you know, we turn around and we look, and there's all these rules, or we have AEs or whatever interpreting rules that they're not even realtors. So, you know, so from that standpoint too, it streamlined the process and puts the input where it should be, which is basically direct input from the agents into the broker's hands to where they can make something happen for the agents and as well as for the industry.
Great. Anything else you want to share with the group? And then we'll go to Steve. No?
I'm good.
Okay, great. All right, so Steve Hayes, president of NABOR in 2020. You guys decided to launch your own MLS and then to join Greater Southern. Tell me all about that. Why'd you do it, and what was the reasoning behind it?
Well, I tell you what, it's been quite a road. I'm very proud of the board here at NABOR. NABOR historically, for the past 15 or so years, maybe 20, I'm not 100% sure of the exact date, but has not had their own MLS. And we were working towards being a part of the conversation for statewide MLS access. And the roads we traveled, the doors that we knocked on, all seemed to kind of close, and were not inclusive of wanting to work with everybody very easily. So when we got the real truth and the real information from Greater Southern MLS about what the structure really was, how it was really going to work, our broker members of NABOR were very clear to us that they wanted to be a part of this, and they wanted us to get it done as quickly as possible. And so the board of directors, that's what we're here to do, is to serve the members, and the members were very solid in telling us that they wanted to see the statewide option. And because we were in that place where we didn't have other contracts, et cetera, to have to deal with, it freed us up to be able to latch onto this very quickly. Our brokers are excited about it because we're already, upon launch, we're going to have access to data from other areas around the state. Other brokerages around the state that are members of Greater Southern MLS, regardless of whether their particular association is a part of Greater Southern MLS, those brokerages are going to be able to join us. So already we're going to have access to data from around the state from the participating brokerages. That's what excited us, is that it was so inclusive, and inclusive to small, medium, and large brokerages. If you take a look here on the screen, we're not large brokerages. I think Webb and I kind of laughed the other day that we each probably have a dozen agents between the two of us, but we have the same ownership and the same say-so as the large brokerages that own the same unit of share with Greater Southern MLS. And in fact, I think that's one of the greatest things, is it kind of levels the playing field, that no one company, no one brand, no one anything has a ramrod control over it. We all have equal say. And this group, it's been a pleasure to work with. There's no infighting. It's been very collaborative, very open. It's a bunch of business owners, a bunch of brokers who own businesses that understand business and what it takes to operate their brokerages. And we're able to do what we need to do very quickly to get this done.
Great. Anything else you want to share, Steve?
We're excited for the Q1 launch. We really are. Our local brokers here on the North Shore are excited. I know the South Shore brokers that are shareholders or et cetera are excited too. I would think Southwest is excited because now we get to bring on some additional data and really see this thing start to grow. So the excitement is huge. It's building, and we're ready to go.
Awesome. Good stuff. All right, so let's get down to the rubber meeting the road here. How do you join Greater Southern MLS? And let me I'll just do one slide here, then I'm going to turn it back over to Webb. And this is a concept that we all have to kind of get our arms around because it's not the way we normally think about real estate, right? So most of us, and I think probably everyone in Louisiana to this day, you join your association, which is normally your local board, right? And then you join the local MLS that goes with it. And we kind of think of that as one purchasing decision historically, because a lot of times it was the same company, right? It was for you, Tommy, at Southwest, and is for many others. But here's what happened. In 2018, NAR came up with a group they call, or a rule they call the Mls of Choice. And basically what that means, if you remember, those that have been around for some time, you realize association of choice has been in place for many years, right? So even though most people do join their local association, you don't have to. And that's been a rule that's, I don't even know, 20 years, I think, plus that's been around. So they added this concept of MLS of choice. So what that basically means is you can make a decision to join, doesn't matter, take any of the boards in the state, right? Take NOMAR or Central or Southwest or NABOR, it doesn't matter. Any one of them, you can join that board. And you can also join that MLS, or you can decide to join Greater Southern, right? So we have to think about them as two separate decisions. Historically, we've always thought, if I belong to one board, I have to belong to their MLS. And there's no reason why you can't belong to their MLS and Greater Southern, but you don't have to think of them as one decision. And this is something that came from NAR. And one thing to remind us too, because this is a realtors only group, even though it's got ownership from associations and brokerages, everything we're doing follows NAR rules and NAR policies. So this is in effect just like any other MLS that's driven by NAR policy. We're following all of the same rules that every other NAR-driven, NAR-sanctioned association or MLS does around the state. So anyway, just back to the point, a broker can join any MLS regardless of their association membership, and an agent can join any MLS where their broker is a participant. So some of you, I think, Webb, you said you have belonged to 3 MLSs, right? So your agents can join any one.
Currently a member of 2. I have been a member as many as 3.
Right? Yeah. So your agents can join either one or both if they so choose, as long as you're there, harboring them, just like we always do, right? Brokers are your job is to make sure agents are not getting themselves in trouble, right? You're supporting their success, but you're also protecting their best interest. And so that's a backdrop to this. So it's kind of a new thinking. You kind of think of it as, I buy association services, I buy MLS services. They don't necessarily have to come from the same organization. So Webb, maybe you can walk people through a few of these scenarios. And these are just a few examples. There's a million scenarios, right? But just to give people sort of thinking about how this might work, because it is different than the way that people have historically worked. So maybe just start with this. Yeah.
Sure. So you do not have to be a member of Southwest Louisiana Association of Realtors or the North Shore Area Board of Realtors to join Greater Southern MLS. There is an MLS only subscription available. And so
through those boards.
Through those 2 groups, right?
Right. There is an MLS only subscription through those 2 boards. And so it is, like Marilyn said, hard to wrap your head around. So we just kind of want to go through a few scenarios that could help hopefully clarify some of the ways that you might become a part of Greater Southern MLS. So in this scenario, scenario one, you can maintain membership with your current association and maintain membership with your current MLS. And then you can join Greater Southern MLS as a secondary membership of MLS. So that you could have your current board membership, whether that's Central Board or Bayou Board or NABOR or wherever it is, you maintain that association membership that you currently have, and you maintain your current MLS that you currently have. And then you also join Greater Southern MLS through, and you would subscribe through one of the other boards that's there, Southwest or NABOR, but you don't necessarily have to join NABOR or Southwest. You would just pay for the MLS. And then, of course, after doing so, we'd encourage you to have all your agents join Greater Southern MLS and encourage your association to offer Greater Southern MLS as well. So in scenario two, you could maintain membership with your current association and then drop your current MLS subscription and join Greater Southern MLS. So just in a hypothetical scenario, let's say you're currently a member of NABOR and a member of Jezreel, and you really particularly like participating in all the continuing ed and everything else that NABOR has to offer, their chili cook-off, whatever it is, and you say, you know what, I want to be a member of NABOR, and I like the people at NABOR and I really want to stay that, but I think for my business model, I just want to be a member of Greater Southern MLS. You have that option. You join Greater Southern MLS and then you encourage all your agents, and you can encourage NABOR to join us as well with the Greater Southern MLS. So that's another scenario where you just maintain your current association, drop your current MLS subscription, and then join Greater Southern MLS as your MLS of choice. So in scenario three, you can maintain membership with your current association and then join Southwest or North Shore as a secondary association. So you'd have two board memberships, and you could maintain your current MLS subscription and join Greater Southern MLS. So you'd have two MLS subscriptions. So as you can see, every brokerage has to make a decision on how this best works within their business model, what works for them. Everybody's going to be different. Some people are going to want to stay where they're at with their current board. Other people are going to want to join a different board. Some people are going to say, you know what, I want to have one board as my primary and one as my secondary. And I want to use Greater Southern as my MLS of choice. And all of those options are okay. You have to decide as the broker, hey, what works best for our company and what works best for my agents to be the most productive they can be. So scenario four is another option. You can move your primary association membership to Southwest or to North Shore, and then you can make your current association your secondary membership. You could maintain your current MLS subscription, and you could also join Greater Southern MLS as a second MLS option. And then encourage your agents to join as well, and encourage your association and agents to become a part of Greater Southern MLS. All of these are options. So you can see there's great flexibility, and it starts with just understanding that both your board of realtors that you're currently a part of and the MLS that you're currently subscribed to are two separate parts of membership. And you can be a member of both or one or the other, whatever works for you.
Yeah, it's just a lot more flexibility, and thanks to NAR for giving brokers these choices, right? If there's different options for you that make sense, then they've given you the ability to do that. And again, Greater Southern is completely adhering to the NAR policies that are put together, both this one and of course there's many, many others. So yeah, okay.
All right, so where do you join Greater Southern MLS? Well, currently you can join through the Southwest Louisiana Association of Realtors. The link is on the screen. And you can join just the MLS, or you can join both the board and the MLS. You can have the board be your primary or your secondary, whatever works for you. But if you want to join Greater Southern MLS currently today, you can use the link that's on your screen, and there's no initiation fee until January 31st of 2021. So get in. I believe the MLS only price right now is what, $39 a month. So that is one option through Southwest. The form is there through that link, so you can do that. And then coming soon in the first quarter of the new year, you can join through the North Shore Area Board of Realtors. So if that board makes more sense for you to get your MLS services through, stay tuned, because that will become available shortly. And so we look forward to having North Shore online and going within the first quarter. And we're hoping many of you who believe that that's the place to get your MLS services from, that you will do so when that becomes available in the first quarter of the new year.
And if anybody would like that link, if we grabbed it, put it in the chat if you want to grab that. If you don't want to do that, if you go to Southwest SWLAR.com, there's a tab called MLS. If you click on that, the first tab below that says Join Greater Southern. You click on that and it'll take you to the same form. So if you don't want to write it out, that's the easy way to get there. Okay.
So I'd like to say a couple more things if I got a second.
Absolutely.
So in preparation for this, I want people to understand what NABOR has put into place. In this year, North Shore Area Board of Realtors has moved their office and enlarged the space that we've got. We've got a training room that we can use now in our space. We have 2 full-time staff and availability to process applications very simply. In fact, our membership has been growing rather rapidly, and the staff has been able to handle that just fine. We will be having, membership, NABOR member MLS pricing and non-NABOR member MLS pricing. Those will be available. So either board, whatever board you belong to, we just welcome you to join the Greater Southern MLS through one of the associations that's currently offering it. While we'd love for whoever lives, works, and worships on the North Shore to belong to NABOR, because we believe in giving back to our local communities through our associations that way, that's not what we're trying to do. We're not trying to make people shift memberships or anything like that. This is an inclusive opportunity for people to be able to share data, do our jobs around the state, and still belong to the board that they want to belong to, and give back to the communities and work with those agents and their boards the way they have.
So we just got a question about pricing, and for any of you that work with boards, we can't share too much pricing online here. The question is, are the fees basically the same for Southwest and NABOR? I don't know if, Steve, if you haven't finalized your pricing yet, have you?
We have, but yeah, in this type of scenario, we need to be careful of antitrust laws. Yeah. So people can most certainly contact me directly, and okay, we'll share those, no problem. But we don't want to get into an antitrust situation. Nobody's trying to take advantage of any situation. It's just business models that make sense for the boards.
This is another one about pricing. I'm not sure you can answer this because there's too many variabilities, but maybe you can just take a crack at it, Webb. The question is, what are the fees with each of the 4 scenarios outside of the $500 upfront fee? Because each one requires different board memberships, potentially different MLS memberships. I'm not sure you can answer, but maybe just take a crack at that.
Yeah, so I would just say, most of the boards in the MLSs would have their pricing available online, or certainly by making just a phone call to that local board. But I know, I'll just give a scenario, my current situation. So I'm a member of two boards, realtors, and two MLSs. My primary is NOMAR. My primary MLS is Gisborne. I'm also a member of Baton Rouge and their MLS. And so being a member of both, I'm paying for board and MLS dues to both. And so, that's 4 bills. I can certainly, decide to leave one and drop that bill, and then I could join through either Greater Southern or NABOR to get just MLS only, or I could become a member of that board and then pay whatever that fee is. And each board is going to decide, what their membership fees are and what their MLS fees are. So it's I had mentioned what Southwest was, because that's public on their website, and it's available now, and it's the option that's out there right now. But certainly moving forward, every association has to make a determination, hey, what works? Just like us brokers make a determination whether to join Greater Southern because it works for our business model, the associations and their members have to make a determination, hey, what works for our business model, for that association and for their members. And so everybody's pricing is going to be a little bit different. But depending on, which board you stay a member of or join or have as a primary or a secondary, and which MLS you stay a member of and then join Greater Southern, your pricing will vary. But you can get the current pricing just by calling local boards.
Gotcha. Okay.
What I would like to encourage, people to, especially the brokers on the call, or if there's some agents that are on the webinar, go back to your broker and encourage them to really take a look at joining Greater Southern MLS. And because one unit for $500, we've spent more than that. Not me personally, but I know agents that have spent more than on that on all kinds of different business operation things that lead to nothing. And this is your opportunity to have a unit of ownership in the newest statewide MLS that is catching on very rapidly. And as more brokers join and entering their listings into this new option, it spreads to be a full-on statewide MLS faster. If you wait to see how somebody does, well, you have to be a part of the solution, is what I'm encouraging people to do, is to take that step to be a part of the solution to opening this model up faster to everybody around the state.
Gotcha.
All right, so if you'd like us to come speak to your brokerage or your community, your association, whatever it may be, you can send an email to admin@greatersouthernmls.com, and we'll be glad to set something up for you. And with certainly with COVID and everything else, if y'all prefer to have a online meeting similar to this, we can certainly set that up as well. So whatever works for you, we want to get the information out to everybody, really, of what we truly represent as Greater Southern MLS, what our culture is about, what our vision is for the future of real estate in Louisiana. And that's really to be a collaborative place that shares data across the state, so we can eliminate arbitrary boundaries, have a level playing field for everybody, regardless of size of your brokerage, to be able to transact business, communicate, and send referrals and have lead generation around the state. So if you'd like to learn more or would like us to come speak, please send us an email and we'll set that up.
Oops.
So, and if you'd like to become a participant, again, you can currently you can join through that link through Southwest. And if you'd like to become a shareholder for $500, you can send us an email at admin@Greater Southern MLS, and we'll get you the paperwork and we can answer whatever questions you have. And we'll be happy to do that. And then if you have any additional questions, again, that admin@Greater Southern MLS, nabor.com is a great email to keep on hand. And then my information, as well as Tommy and Steve's, is up on your screen. You can send us an email. You can give us a call. We'll be happy to chat with you, answer whatever questions come up. And for you brokers that are on today, you know, if you're hearing from your agents and they have questions, or maybe they've heard something and you're not sure if what they're telling you is true, you know, look, we'll talk to you. We'll talk to your agents, whoever you'd like us to communicate with to get the right information out there. Look, our numbers are there. We're easy accessible, very transparent. And we just want to be able to be a resource for you moving forward.
And Steve, I guess this one's for you. This is from Peggy. She's a member of NABOR. She said, should or could I go in and join now? My broker's already going to participate. It's Weichert Realtors, who's actually one of our broker sponsors. What's your answer for Peggy?
Well, first of all, Peggy, thanks for being on here. Peggy is a previous president of NABOR, and I tell you what, she did a lot in the previous years to help NABOR get to this point. She worked really, really diligently to help strengthen NABOR and make it, you know, where we could make some advancements. So thank you, Peggy, for that, all the hard work you put in the years previous. Yes, you could. If you want to join, you can join with an MLS only access to Greater Southern MLS through Southwest Association, or you know, you can wait until NABOR launches and then have the NABOR member pricing for our access directly right here. We are going to be launching in Q1 and have, you know, more data available at that time. So that's strictly up to you how you would like to be able to approach that.
Okay. Is there anybody else on the call that has questions for Webb or Steve or Tommy? We have been answering questions along the way, so hopefully we answered some of those that you guys had issues with. But is there anybody else that has any questions, comments, concerns? Is there anything we said that you're not clear about or that is a little confusing? We're happy to clarify anything that we really want you to understand really how this works. And again, all the numbers are there. So you know, Tommy's in Lake Charles, Steve is in Mandeville, Webb is in the river parishes. If you want to talk to any of them as, you know, practitioners like yourself, they're happy to talk to you. And if there's anything that Greater Southern can do, of course, you know, reach out to admin at greatersouthernmls.com. Okay, we did have a question come in. Let's see what that one is. Oh, just thank you. Very excited. Steve, can I have a recording? Probably of you saying all those nice things about Peggy.
Why not? Testimonial's a testimonial.
It is being recorded, by the way, and it will be posted. So if anybody does want to share this with anyone, feel free. Okay, and then Tim asked, can we send the 4 options to join, please? I think we're going to be sending out this whole recording for you, and that's a good idea. We can, and those were just scenarios we came up with, right? There's many, many more. Those were just, I think the bottom line of Webb, if you agree, is this is only for realtors, right? So everybody has to belong to at least one board in Louisiana to be part of this. That's number correct. One, right? At least one. And you're welcome to belong to more than one, because many of you already do, and that's awesome. And if you decided you wanted to join Southwest and or NABOR in addition, that's awesome too. I'm sure
both. Both is always an option too.
Right? You would definitely take the membership for sure. And then again, you can belong to whatever number of MLSs you belong to today. And you can join Greater Southern in addition to, or you can join Greater Southern in lieu of, or some iteration in between. If you have 3 MLSs and you think, you know, I really use one most often, I'll keep that one and then I'll join Greater Southern, I'll drop the other 2. There's a million scenarios, right? It's really up to each of you as brokers.
So Will Redondo has a question. Will my listings with my current MLS be in Greater Southern MLS? Not automatically, not without you joining Greater Southern MLS and making that, you know, a part of where you put them. Eventually, we hope that everybody, all the brokers in the area have listings in Greater Southern MLS so that we have a true statewide database, but this is not a data share.
Correct. And actually, one other good point, thank you for bringing that question up. There is a new NAR policy that was put in place, and some of you may not be aware of it yet, and it's called, kind of a weird name, but it's called MyDX, not like IDX, like MYDX, like IDX, but only your data, right? So if you have a history of working in a broker, in an MLS somewhere around the state, and you want to be sure to take your history, not take your history with you, get a copy of your history and move it into Greater Southern so you don't lose any of that continuity. That is completely possible, and NAR has put a policy in place to require any one associate or any one MLS around the country to have to give that data to the broker. Not all of the data, just be clear, just the broker's own history, right? So if you've had, I don't know, you were in, the Shreveport MLS and you had, you've done 100 deals over the last 5 years, those 100 transactions, you get a copy of them. It doesn't come out of your current MLS. It stays in your current MLS. You get a copy of them, and then you can move that data either into another MLS or frankly into your own tools too. The MyDX lets you do whatever it is you want to do with your own data. So that's a relatively new rule that's gives all of you guys as brokers more flexibility to take your data and put it wherever you think it makes sense. Could be in a back office solution, could be in a marketing solution, could be on your website. It could be in another MLS. It could be anywhere you decide because it's your data to be able to do with it as you see fit. So again, another example of Greater Southern completely following NAR policies as they've been articulated, because again, you guys are realtors, you appreciate, you value what NAR does on behalf of everyone. And that's why, it's just like it would be with any other MLS. Okay, any other questions that we can answer for the audience? And if there's something that you're not comfortable asking here, again, you see there's 4 email addresses here. Just send to any one of those folks or to admin at Greater Southern MLS, and we'll be happy to get that answered for you too. Okay.
Awesome.
All right. Well, thank you so much. So this has been recorded, and we will send you a copy of this recording in case you want to share it with anyone else within your company. And again, if you have any further questions, we know this is a big leap. It's a change from the way that business has been done historically in Louisiana. So if you have anything you're confused about or are unclear about, we understand that, because frankly, it took all of us a long time to get our act together and figure this out, right? So we're here to support you. Okay. Let's see. Any other questions? Nope. I think that's it.
That's it.
All right. Well, thank you so
y'all.
much, everybody. Everybody have a wonderful holiday, and we'll be talking to all of you soon. Thank you so much.
Thank you.